To now finish up our growth engine presentation and section is going to switch to something completely different. We're going to talk about digital communications and fundraising, led by Zac Moffatt, the founder and CEO of Targeted Victory, which is the preeminent Washington, D.C. based fundraising and that's a digital communications company, I would say, in the country. So, Zac, over to you.
Thanks. Thank you. Perfect. Hi, I'm Zac. I'm the founder, one of the founders of Targeted Victory, and currently serving as Chief Executive Officer. You will notice that I'm going to get more and more excited about this, so I'm going to go quickly. So bear with me. We're going to go through a lot right now. You know, Targeted Victory was really excited to join Stagwell because we shared a vision with Mark on two fronts. One, we knew he had the confidence to understand that advocacy in the political market was going to be a massive market that people are underappreciating. And two, we shared his vision that the right ad to the right person, the right message at the right time is a differential, because that's how we win our campaigns. And we wanted to take that work and bring it to the corporate sector. And so we thought this was the right vehicle through which to do that. COVID obviously pulled forward. As a digital native firm, we were able to use the speed of politics to kind of continue to grow, and we've grown 150% during this time of the last year and a half. And you can see from our key stats, you know, what we are used to is iterating at scale, placing things quickly. Our campaigns last 1 week often at times, and so we're moving very, very quickly. And that's both online and offline. We work with clients in the digital transformation on campaigns. We work with offline public affairs campaigns. We have multiple Fortune 50 companies working with us to identify how to do online and offline action and to change across the board. What we're going to get into specifically, though, is talking a little bit about digital marketing at scale, because this is an underappreciated part of the political marketplace. What you see here is Targeted Victory's numbers. In 2018, we raised $125 million for our clients off a staff base of about 65 people. Fast forward to today, we'll have over 300 staff this year, and we'll raise close to $1.2 billion. And so we're an end-to-end service on that. We're writing the content, we're helping them with execution. And so what this does, and the reason this is important, is to understand just what is going on in the political sphere. And so what I want to do is take a quick second and walk people through the history of how we got here. 2008 was amazing on many fronts, but it wasn't just hope and change. It was actually Team Obama opting out of campaign funding. What that did is, instead of taking $80 million from the federal government, they raised $300 million. It fundamentally changed the trajectory of politics. If you go look at the numbers, in 2010, only about a $4 billion industry was political. 2012, up about 10% because it was a presidential. 2014, stayed around the same. But suddenly, during that time, the low-dollar fundraising program was compounding on itself, and you started to see in 2014 and 16 this massive growth. So in the last 6 years, political spending has gone from $4 billion to $14 billion. And if you even look at 2020, which is our estimates, it'll get up to $15 billion, which is only $600 million more, but if you back out Mike Bloomberg and Tom Steyer's, it's $2.6 billion. So we're starting to see at scale people being activated, and they're being activated in $30 increments. We're seeing the money raised online, and we're seeing the contributions. People are more active than they've ever been before. So I want to dive specifically into these numbers to understand where is this growth coming from. 2014, $4 billion spent, less than 9% was raised online. 2020, we're at $14 billion, with almost half coming in online. This cycle will be a $15 billion industry, with over 60% coming in through low-dollar fundraisings on both the right and the left. And that's a massive opportunity, because it means people are being activated at scale, and all the technology necessary for that to be successful is being implemented across the board. When people ask me, you know, I care about the general numbers, but I really care about my company. What does it look like? And the thing is, you know, you often see the future's here, just not evenly distributed. On the left, these numbers are ActBlue. ActBlue is the payment processor of the left. And what has happened is that we talked about in 2008, the left was about 4 years ahead of Republicans in terms of low-dollar fundraising. So while Republicans are growing faster cycle over cycle, it's off a smaller base number. But what we're able to do is to go look at kind of what numbers have come before us on the left and kind of map our trajectory as a result. If you look at their 2018 numbers for ActBlue, those are almost identical to those on the right in 2020. And so what we saw in 2018 to 2020 on the left is the growth went from, you know, 300% for all intents and purposes. It went from 1.6 billion raised to 5 billion. More impressively, 71% of those people donated for the first time. So what that means is that not a lack of demand, and there's more demand than there is, it's just about activating people. Who can get involved and get more people to come and get involved into the overall process? We look at it, though, the total addressable market. 18-year-olds plus, about 210 million here in the United States. About 158 million voted in 2020. Less than 20 million gave last cycle. And donors who gave over $200 constituted just 2% of the population. When you put it in comparison, 73% of Americans gave to charity last year. So in a 2-year cycle, less than 20 million gave. In 1 year in America, 73% give to charity. And they gave individuals $324 billion. So we think that we're still in the second inning of just what's coming to political spending. And that tailwind will not only be in fundraising, but it'll impact everything from paid media to creative to field programs. There's a huge tunnel of money coming into politics that will all be driven from a $30 donation. The day of 500 families being the determination of where the money is going has tapped out. And so all the growth is going to be on the tail of politics. How are we able to capture this? Well, not only do you have more activation than ever, but now because of mobile reducing friction and the cloud computing coming in to allow us to capture these data points, we're able to actually transform how successful we can be. We can have different journeys for different individuals and help them identify what they want to give to, what message they react to. And what we're able to do is to build a technological infrastructure to support a presidential, but then scale it to the long tail of politics. And so you're looking at the Senate races, at House races, and state and local races. There's an unlimited amount of campaigns running every time. People often talk about federal elections and talk about the presidential, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. It represents only about 20% of the total market that's out there. I thought, to share this just so people have a frame of reference, House is the new Senate, Senate is the new presidential, presidential is the new Fortune 50. An average House race now, top tier, will do $10 million in a cycle. A Senate race is a $100 million business. A presidential is a $1 billion plus business. And so you look at it, you look through the numbers, you say, okay, in 2021, we're already seeing on both the right and the left, there's double the amount of donors right now than 2 years ago. There's 3 times the contributions. Look at candidates across the board. You're seeing the underlying numbers. Tim Scott goes from 2 million cash on hand 6 years ago to 20 million now. Young Kim is raising 250% more than she did just 2 years ago. And a National Republican Congressional Committee is up 300% with 360% more contributions. Everywhere you look, people are seeing and embracing the trend and getting more and more involved. We wanted to break out that this is not just a federal phenomenon. We looked at the RSLC, which is the Republican State Leadership Conference. They, when COVID came, decided to build a low-dollar program from scratch in April of 2020. In just that year, they were able to raise over $4 million from 110,000 donations. Already this year, they're at $6 million, and they were very active in New Jersey, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. And what they're doing is they're using these dollars to change how we leverage time on a campaign. They're pulling forward future demand much sooner. So you're going to see people buying TV commercials sooner. You're going to see people in the field sooner. It's going to impact all these adjacent industries that right now are working backwards. Most of the analysis you're seeing, people are doing it based upon what they think consumption will be. From this is a bottom up, this is actually how much will be raised. Campaigns have no use to have money in the bank on election day. They will be spending sooner and they will be pulling forward future demand. And you're seeing right now at the local level, 5 campaigns a week are being onboarded on all these platforms. So we're going to see this just keep further and further down the stack as people get involved. What's next for us after this? Well, obviously we're capitalizing on the fundraising approach. We believe we're only in the second inning of where political giving is giving. We went from a $4 billion industry to a $14 billion industry. We think it probably normalizes much, much higher from here. We expanded to right of center nonprofit. We talked about those numbers before, $324 billion on individual giving and charitable giving. Huge opportunity for us to move our technology stack into. International campaigns, obviously people are being active across the world. People are seeing more and more people, but they're looking to the United States to see what is best in class, what future trends look like. And then finally, hyperlocal engagements for Fortune 100 companies. What we are finding is that it's so difficult right now to break through in national audiences. It's so formulaic in the way that people are approaching things that things are being broken down to the local level. The insight that the future of trust is local and communications is personal is going to drive so many future trends for how messages are delivered and what that success looks like. And what companies are looking for is someone who can come in and take that relationship from the local level and work it all the way through the national. So those are the 4 trends that will drive us from here, but I wanted to make sure that we walk people through just how big this market is and how much people are underappreciating where it's going from here. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.